The Association of American Railroads says the risk of a hazardous materials shipment incident is 2.3 thousandths of a percent per rail car. That sounds small, but is it? 0.0023% is 1 in 43,500. An 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of graph paper with 1 millimeter grid has 45,000 tiny squares. So one of those squares represents a failed tank car. But crude oil travels in unit trains. Each train has 100 to 120 tank cars, so one bad car is coupled to 99 to 119 others. Unit trains increase risk because all the cars have oil in them. If one car fails, it can cause releases and/or fires in multiple cars. More cars are at risk simultaneously, so one operator per 120 cars means much is at stake if there's an error. A rail or equipment failure, crash, or other mishap affects multiple tank cars. We saw this in the 2013 disaster at Lac Megantic, Quebec, where 63 tank cars derailed and 59 of them released crude oil. And in Mosier, Oregon, on June 3, 2016, where 16 cars derailed and 4 of them released oil. There are 450 big squares per sheet. That means out of every 450 trains, or 18 times 25, one will have an incident. The Tesoro-Savage Vancouver Terminal will handle 120 trains per month, or 1,440 per year. That's exactly 3.2, or about 3 sheets of paper. The industry risk figure is based on an average trip length of 578 miles. Because the Columbia River Gorge is 96 miles long, the accident risk there is 1/6 of the national average. So 3.2 releases per year, every 578 miles, works out to a little over a half an incident per year within the gorge. That's 22 months between incidents for 100-car trains, or 18 months for 120-car trains. That's not safe. Trust the industry's accident record, not their arguments about safety. Their accident record agrees with the June 3, 2016 Mosier, Oregon derailment that happened after about 3 years of moving oil by rail through the region. Adjusting the risk for mileage, 18 months of trains at Vancouver is 4.5 sheets of paper and 1 train with an incident in the Columbia River Gorge. What about the entire route? It's 1,178 miles by rail from Vancouver to North Dakota, double the average hazmat trip length, or 12 times greater than the risk in the Columbia Gorge alone. So somewhere along the route, an event is predicted every 45 days for 120-car trains. The consequences of an accident are grave. They include a massive wildfire, an oil spill fouling the river and salmon habitat, property damage, loss of human life, wildlife impact, high cost of recovery, disruption to our lives and the local economy, and a railroad bankruptcy that would transfer cleanup costs to the public. The risk is too high and not worth taking. Chris Carvalho is a photographer and chemical engineer. He writes Seeing Nature, an environmental issues blog at Lensjoy.com. Follow him at Gorge Pulse,